Hello everyone, and welcome to Five Nights at Freddy's. I probably never thought we'd be seeing this, huh? To be honest, I didn't either. But in a couple of days, at the time of this recording, it is going to be the 10th anniversary of the release of this game. And I figured I should at least check it out at some point. Now, Five Nights at Freddy's is a series that I've always had really mixed feelings on. I mean, I've always thought it was a really great idea. I even voted for it back on Steam Greenlight when that was a thing. But then when the game came out, I tried the demo. I didn't really like the gameplay at all. However, I really liked the aesthetic, I really liked the vibe. And from what I read online, I really ended up liking some of the lore that came out and the story that went into it that made the game even creepier. And so I was fairly happy to see it succeed. And then over time, it grew, and the more I heard about it, the more I felt like this is getting really convoluted, but that has gotten so far away from me, I can't even really, in any informed manner, talk about that. So joining me here today is my sister Jess.
Hi. Hello. Hello.
Who, as you can hear, knows a lot more about it than I do, so I figured she'll be good company, and we'll have some context going in. So, I'm going to start a new game. First night. Oh, look at that view. I always loved how this had like a 90s game look to it. Do I actually have to click the phone? Is that...
No, it just picks up by itself.
Hello? I wanted to record a message for you to help you get settled in on your first night. I actually worked in that office before you. I'm finishing up my last week now, as a matter of fact, so I know it can be a bit overwhelming, but I'm here to tell you there's nothing to worry about. You'll be fine. So let's just focus on getting you through your first week, okay? Let's see. First, there's an introductory greeting from the company that I'm supposed to read. It's kind of a legal thing, you know. Welcome to Freddy Fazbear's Pizza, a magical place for kids and grown-ups alike, where fantasy and fun come to life. Fazbear Entertainment is not responsible for damage to property or person. Upon discovering that damage or death have occurred, a missing person report will be filed within 90 days, or as soon as property and premises have been thoroughly cleaned and bleached and the carpets have been replaced. Blah, blah, blah. Now, that might sound bad, I know, but there's really nothing to worry about. The animatronic characters here do get a bit quirky at night, but do I blame them? No. If I were forced to sing those same stupid songs for 20 years and I never got a bath, I'd probably be a bit irritable at night too. So remember, these characters hold a special place in the hearts of children, and we need to show them a little respect, right? Okay. So just be aware, the characters do tend to wander a bit. They're left in some kind of free roaming mode at night. Something about their servos locking up if they get turned off for too long. They used to be allowed to walk around during the day too, but then there was the bite of 87. Yeah. It's amazing that the human body can live without the frontal lobe, you know? Now, concerning your safety, the only real risk to you as a night watchman there, if any, is the fact that these characters, if they happen to see you after hours, probably won't recognize you as a person. They'll most likely see you as a metal endoskeleton without its costume on. Now, since that's against the rules here at Freddy Fazbear's Pizza, they'll probably try to forcefully stuff you inside a Freddy Fazbear suit. Now, that wouldn't be so bad if the suits themselves weren't filled with cross beams, wires, and animatronic devices, especially around the facial area. So you can imagine how having your head forcefully pressed inside one of those could cause a bit of discomfort and death. The only parts of you that would likely see the light of day again would be your eyeballs and teeth that pop out the front of the mask. Yeah, they don't tell you these things when you sign up. But hey, first station of the breeze. I'll chat with you tomorrow. Check those cameras and remember to close the doors only if absolutely necessary. Gotta conserve power. Alright, good night.
So there we are, that famous phone call that started it all. And see, this is where I'm starting to see some of the things I really liked about Five Nights at Freddy's. And, you know, we're obviously going to be talking spoilers here. We're not going to be beating the entire game in one sitting, but... What do I do?
I'm gonna be so for real with you, Chief. I don't know.
What do you mean you don't know?
I've never played this myself. I did what everybody else did and just came home from school and watched Markiplier play it.
I think that's probably the case. I think that there was one more of you a second ago, wasn't there?
Yeah, Bonnie.
So I should check the hall leading up to here, right?
Yeah, I mean, you might be able to see him. Yeah, there he is.
Okay, so he's backstage. That's okay for now then, right?
Yeah.
And while we're looking at these cameras, we're draining the battery more quickly, right?
Yeah, and you already started off with like 85 or something like that after the phone call.
So it's so it does drain passively even if we're not doing anything. Okay. And now you're gone from backstage. But like the idea of just being stationary while experiencing all this through cameras, that was very like I hadn't heard of anything like that before.
Okay.
You're right there.
Yeah.
But if we keep you in our sight, you won't move, right?
Yeah, but the cameras drain the batteries, so you kind of... You can listen for, like, auditory cues. Like, you'll know when certain things happen. Yep, okay, that's Chica. Go to this side. Now try that side.
I can't do it. Is there like a cooldown?
I thought... Okay, try closing the door.
I can't.
It's not doing anything?
It's not doing anything. I have to close that one. Can't do anything on the left side.
Okay, check the cameras again. Okay.
Chica and Bonnie are both
Chica
gone.
and Bonnie are out.
Okay. Die! Oh my god, yep. And now we start all the way from the beginning. And this is where I really do not like the gameplay because it's constantly, like, I guess if you're tense waiting for that, like, jack-in-the-box to happen, that can be scary the first couple of times.
That's you.
Nice
you.
details there. He meant it. I can't engage with what makes any of this creepy because I'm just, like, eventually treating this thing like a bop it, you know? Or what do they call it? The twister? Was that thing?
No, it's a bop it.
They call it bop it?
Yeah, twist it, bop it.
But yeah, now we're just like back in the beginning, starting at night 1. I guess if we continue, we don't have to listen to the phone call again.
Yeah, well, the thing that I like about it is that you just have to start finding patterns. I mean, generally, the game itself isn't... I feel like especially now that we're so far removed from the first game, it kind of loses what makes it scary, or what made it scary at the time.
He gave us that explanation of like, yeah, they need to move
Cameras?
around because their servos will lock up.
That's Freddy.
Yep. Five Nights Freddy is on the prowl.
That's him. It's Freddy Five Nights.
Yep. It's their servos will lock up, and they will see you as an endoskeleton, so they'll try and stuff you inside a suit. And that to me is really cool because like over the course of the game, we start to learn that there is clearly something more going on here. And something that like can't be covered by that rational explanation. I can't think about that while I'm trying to just do whatever this is. Like,
well, that's the thing though, is that like the lore is kind of just what happens in between playing, if that makes sense.
yeah, and that's fine. It's just, you know, I feel like the reason this was able to be so popular is because I think a majority of the people who are into this really only got the lore. I think a majority of those people probably do not actually play the game. They watch someone else play it. I guess they're all still there. I think it's only the 3 on night 1, right?
Foxy comes later.
Oh yeah, Foxy. I think, now I remember this about Foxy, and this is kind of cool. I'm pretty sure when Foxy is coming for you, you will actually see them running down the hall on the camera, right? One of the few things that you see moving.
Yeah.
I still haven't seen the movie, but people say it's people say it's pretty good.
There are certain things that I don't really like about it, but for what it is, I do enjoy it.
Cameras went dark. What do I do?
Die, I guess. I don't know. Yeah, check the lights. So usually if there's somebody like right outside the door, their shadow will pop up on the wall right there. So there's
those
nobody
holes,
there.
So there's a window over here and then like a hole over here.
Yeah.
So if they're like at the stage right before, so I guess if they're in the door, you're already dead.
Yeah.
Now I remember also that the sequels, like they came out really, really quickly, but they sort of fundamentally changed what was going on. So for example here, like you're in a very enclosed area, and it's kind of your safety bubble, even if it's not really all that safe. But in the sequel, they put you like in a front desk situation, and you didn't have any doors. You had to actually just hide by kind of doing the logical thing, which is to just put on a mask so they see you as another animatronic.
Yeah. Hello? It's night 1!
Is Foxy not supposed to be here?
I mean, I don't think it's common. I could be wrong.
Well, because I think there's like once you beat it, you get like you can set it so that you can like choose your own parameters or something.
Yeah.
And there's a way where you can like set everything to the max, which is like not even you're not expected to be able to do it that way, but like people do it as like a challenge.
Yeah.
And I think he's done it for all of them, right?
Yeah. It really is just like muscle memory based off of like audio cues and visual cues.
I know there's somebody in that hall out there.
That's Bonnie. You don't have to worry about it until you check and see the shadow on the wall. Just real quick. Okay.
All right.
Dang it.
It's because what it comes down to, I think, is that they tell us that it's like malfunctioning animatronics, but that's not really what's going on, right? Like
they're possessed by the kids that William Afton murdered, and he stuffed their bodies into the suits to hide the evidence from the police.
Are they supposed to still be in there? Like,
no,
were they ever found?
I think they do get found, but their souls are stuck in there. But the basic idea is that the suits are possessed by children's souls, and they're looking for William Afton to kill him and stuff him in a suit, which is why they want to stuff you in a suit, because you're like the next person that they find.
So you're like basically an extension of like the evil that they see as this place.
Yeah, I think so. Again, my knowledge of it is like a little bit more on the casual side. Like, I know some people get like super really into it and like all the details and stuff. I have like general knowledge about the basic timeline. Actually, check Pirate's Cove if Foxy's gonna come out. No, okay. You're good.
When I played the demo, I literally had nothing happen in night 1.
That's what usually happens, is like at most Bonnie will make an appearance or two on the cameras, but like that's why I was so surprised that Foxy came out. But I think also once something happened to Mark on like the first night that was like a 1 in a million shot of it happening.
I wonder if stuff like that is like programmed in to throw you off once you like, so that like once you've like really got the patterns down, stuff can still throw you a curveball.
Oh yeah, no, for sure.
Let's see, is Pirates Cove still everybody fine? But it's only 1 a.m. and yeah, I think. See, that's the thing, is that like right now, I'm pretty sure this is already a loss because we're at, well, not necessarily. We've just hit 2 a.m. and at a certain point, the power management, like I don't like that it passively drains, because it means that at a certain point, even if you have the pattern down, like I've seen people do runs where they get screwed because there's just so many things happening where their responses basically force them into 0 power, and at that point you're essentially at the mercy of RNG. Like to me that feels very unrefined from a gameplay perspective. And on night 1 that's probably not so much the case, because it's at like pretty much the most lenient it's going to be.
Especially since there wasn't really lore at this point in it. You have to remember that like there was no lore to enjoy at first. It really was just the thrill of possibly being scared.
Yeah, it was a very Jack-in-the-Box style game. I don't think the creator expected it to take off in the way that it did.
No, and especially since like he did it all himself. It was just one person.
He's Bone Guy, right?
I think so.
I think so, but what is it? You raised a good point just now, which is that it's very much like the original like Star Wars, where a lot of the lore that people like, and even stuff that's like associated with this game, came really from recontextualization. I think that came from later games.
It was all like hindsight type realizations or connections or whatever.
I can hear like rummaging about. That's the worst. Okay, Bonnie's coming. I've seen people play the other ones, and I like the vibe of this game the most. I like being in like the dirty back office, and it's like very small and cramped. Mm-hmm. I always liked the first one best, but it's very, as you said, this one is the one that's most light on lore. I think we can keep the doors closed for as long as we want, but they drain a lot of power.
Yeah. Nice.
But, I don't think these games really follow the same type of gameplay in like current iterations these days. You're still there?
Yep.
I think at this point we can probably afford to keep that closed for another hour.
Well, it's draining even more though.
Yeah,
I mean, you do only have an hour, but
yeah.
Check the light again. Still there.
Still there, yeah. I've seen them stay here for a long time in people's playthroughs. Actually, I don't think current games really have this same style anymore, right?
I don't know.
I know there's like 50 of them now, and I think the original creator doesn't make them anymore.
Oh yeah, no, the last one I'm pretty sure he didn't make. I don't remember what the last one he made was. Again, this is the kind of information that I'm not really up to date on.
Right, so we just beat night 1, and I think it's gonna get like harder with each one. So I doubt we're even gonna beat night 2, especially since I think it's a pretty substantial ramp up. This is supposed to be the original location, right? Like, is this where it happened?
Yeah, I think so. I think in order of the games, I want to say it's like one. It's either 1, 4, 2, 3, or like 1, 2, 4, 3, something like that. So this is the first one chronologically.
Hello. Well, if you're hearing this and you made it to day 2. Congrats! I won't talk quite as long this time since Freddy and his friends tend to become more active as the week progresses. It might be a good idea to peek at those cameras while I talk, just to make sure everyone's in their proper place, Interestingly enough, Freddy himself doesn't come off stage very often. I've heard he becomes a lot more active in the dark, though, so hey, I guess that's one more reason not to run out of power, right? I also want to emphasize the importance of using your door lights.
What?
There are blind spots in your camera view.
Oh, we're on night 2.
Those blind spots happen to be right outside your door. So if you can't find something or someone on your cameras, be sure to check the door light. You might only have a few seconds to react. Not that you would be in any danger, of course. I'm not implying that. Also, check on the curtain in Pirate Cove from time to time. The character in there seems unique in that he becomes more active if the cameras remain off for long periods of time. I guess he doesn't like being watched.
You don't say.
Anyway, I'm sure you have everything under control. Talk to you soon.
So basically every once in a while you gotta check on Foxy.
Yeah.
What I was going to say earlier is that I feel like this kind of thing, like, I don't like this, where it's like, the gameplay is on while we're listening to Phone Guy. And to me, that makes it impossible to focus on what you're saying, which is, to me, is the interesting part of the game.
I don't know which one it is, but there's one that has, like, in between this part, there's, like, an 8-bit game that is more lore-heavy, and it has nothing to do with, like, these types of mechanics.
Now you did watch Security Breach, right? That one is very different. I think that was the first one that wasn't made by the original creator, right?
Okay. Well, I don't know. I said that before. I have no idea when he stopped having a hand in it.
But that one is more of like a traditional like horror game.
Yeah, it's like a first person. You like look around the Pizzaplex.
That one was also when like the first one to really embrace like the more child-friendly market, right?
Yeah.
Because this game obviously has like a huge like following with kids, and it really always has. but like they really started, I feel like, to embrace it more recently.
Yeah.
And I'm not somebody who will like hate on something just because kids like it, because like that's really.
I like plenty of things that kids like.
Now there is one thing that I do want to ask you about.
Okay.
And it's relating to the second one. Now in the second one, they introduced not an animatronic even, but what they called the marionette.
Yes.
Yeah, and I remember Markiplier got through that entire thing, and I don't think it ever really explained in that what that was about, but it seemed there was something about that seemed different from the others.
So the marionette is... Okay, rewind. So...
Oh my god!
Freddy Fazbear's Pizzeria was made by William Afton and I think his name is Henry Emily. So William Afton has 3 kids, and after the first location gets shut down, I think it's at the second location where William Afton still has a thirst for blood, and so he decides that he's going to kill Henry Emily's daughter. Henry Emily creates the marionette to protect the kids at the new location, and William Afton leads Henry Emily's daughter outside, kills her, and then she possesses the marionette. So this entire game is built on children being murdered.
It never really spells it out for you. I was always a big fan of Phone Guy's Last Call. Because I think he basically, like, spent the entire game, like, trying to reassure you that everything's fine. And then on the final night, he's like, all right, listen, we're dealing with, like, a situation or whatever. We can't tell you anything right now, but just, like, sit tight for one more night. And just, like, the way it comes across, I always found that was peak horror to me. That was everything I thought this game could be realized. I loved that, and I still love it.
Oh, hey, good job, night 5. Hey, keep a close eye on things tonight, okay? From what I understand, the building is on lockdown. No one is allowed in or out, especially concerning any previous employees. When we get it all sorted out, we may move you to the day shift. A position just became available. We don't have a replacement for your shift yet, but we're working on it. We're going to try to contact the original restaurant owner. I think the name of the place was Fredbear's Family Diner or something like that. It was closed for years, though. I doubt we'll be able to track anybody down. So just get through one more night. Hang in there. Good night. Hello. What on earth are you doing there? Didn't you get the memo? The place is closed down, at least for a while. Someone used one of the suits. We had a spare in the back, a yellow one. Someone used it. Now none of them are acting right. Listen, just finish your shift. It's safer than trying to leave in the middle of the night. We have one more event scheduled for tomorrow, a birthday. You'll be on day shift. Wear your uniform. Stay close to the animatronics and make sure they don't hurt anyone, okay? For now, just make it through the night. When the place eventually opens again, I'll probably take the night shift myself. Okay, good night and good luck.
It's only now that I realize this is not a properly 3D environment.
No, yeah, it's like half a cylinder.
Yeah. I like it, though. I think the graphics are appropriate for what it's doing.
Yeah.
I can see, like, obviously you need to have a reason why you can't just close the doors all the time.
Yeah.
And you need to have a reason why you can't just, like, have the lights on. I don't think passively checking the camera should do it because that is your gameplay. Like, that's like having a limit on walking to me. And I think later games did a better job of that because they really expanded on them. Like, right now it's just, like, lights, door, camera. I think later ones added more and more to the formula.
Yeah, that's why I like the second one a lot.
The second one felt like a much more refined product, I think, as far as the gameplay goes.
I like that it just had more for you to do. Like, you have to wind up the music box, you have to check the vents, you have to flash your light a certain way. I literally don't know what you're supposed to do there. That's the second time we've gotten that.
Yeah, and there's something else I wanted to ask you about, something I just remembered.
Mm-hmm.
So, like, there's each of the animatronics, and you kind of get to know them over the course of these games. There is one that is not like the others, even in the first game, And that, of course, is Golden Freddy. What is the deal with Golden Freddy?
I want to say that the deal with Golden Freddy, if I remember correctly, is that is William Afton's son, I believe, who got murdered.
But not by him?
No. So what happened is his kid had a birthday at Freddy Five Nights. His older son picked him up, and as a tee-hee, haha little prank, he put his head into the mouth of the springlock suit that his dad, William Afton, wore, and it chomped his head. Now, that is not the bite of 87.
Right, I believe throughout
That's the bite of 83.
Yeah, so throughout these games, I think they actually had, like, several, like, misleads, right, about what certain events actually, like, corresponded to.
I don't know if they were misleads or
just, like, retcons or just, like, story establishing as it went on.
Yeah, so I think part of what makes the lore so crazy is that a lot of it was just, like, fan theory, and it was, like, what's his name? Scott Cawthorn?
Something like that, yeah.
I think he would just kind of, like, read into those theories and be like, yeah, let's use that.
I wonder if he ever, like, planned to do something and then, like, saw a theory and was like, dang it, and, like, couldn't do it.
It was like, that's a better idea than my idea.
One thing that always interested me was that, like, for years, people would speculate about, like, was this the bite of 87? It's probably better known now, but it was sort of ambiguous for a long time when each of these games takes place, right?
Yeah.
Foxy's coming out.
Yeah.
Chica.
Okay.
Freddy himself is, like, the least active so far. I think he's only come out, like, once.
Yeah, I think Freddy tends to be more active the later you get into the game.
Well, he's the face of this, after all.
Yeah. If you see Foxy running, I'm pretty sure he always goes right for the left side. So
Yeah,
just
I
go
think
right for that
think
left door.
Even in the Let's Plays I'm seeing, I'm pretty sure it was always left.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure Bonnie's always on the left, Chica's always on the right, Foxy's always on the left.
This is also, when you think about it, this is the beginning of, like, mascot horror, both in terms of, like, literal, like, you know, theme park mascots, and also in terms of. So
Not yet, yeah.
And also in terms.
We both silently jumped.
You know, just having these, like, very recognizable horror icons in games, you know?
Okay, check the light on Bonnie's side. Gone.
You're gone, so you're good, yep. Still got some time left to go.
Check Chica's side. Okay.
I mean, I suppose all you really need is the lights.
Wait, check on Foxy.
Alright, Foxy. You gotta check Pirate's Cove.
You good. Okay, Bonnie's back
coming.
in that corner.
She can nowhere to be found. Sometimes they'll just kill the lights.
No, at 6 o'clock the lights will go out if you run. Well, I mean, you'll run out of power and the lights will go out, but sometimes it's like right at 6 o'clock and all the lights go out.
There is one aspect of the game design. I thought that might be Foxy. I think you can hear Foxy coming too.
Yeah, I think you can hear the steps.
There is one aspect of the game design that I do kind of like, as far as this goes, and that's once you lose power, you still have a chance to make it if it creeps over the.
So you're just waiting for his song to finish. Yay!
Yay! We did night 2. I like it when, like, the mechanics complement, like, the feeling. And that is one thing where it complements, like, the gameplay, where, like, if you are in it for the tension of it, being able to roll over when you're out of power is a really good idea.
Yeah.
But, of course, at that point, you are totally just, Jesus, take the wheel.
Yeah.
Oh, hey, you're doing great. Most people don't last this long. I mean, you know, they usually move on to other things by now. I'm not implying that they Anyway,
It's good that you're not implying that.
Much of your time. Things are getting real tonight. Hey, listen, I had an idea. If you happen to get caught and want to avoid getting stuffed into a Freddy suit, try playing dead. You know, go limp. Then there's a chance that maybe they'll think that you're an empty costume instead. Then again, if they think you're an empty costume, they might try to stuff a mental skeleton into you. I wonder how that would work. Yeah, never mind. Scratch that. It's best just not to get caught. Okay, I'll leave you to it. See you on the flip side.
Funny how they basically made like the opposite of that into a mechanic in 2. And then, okay, wait. So we talked a lot about like 1 and 2. We haven't really talked about 3, and 3 I never really looked into, but I think that was the one where they opened up like a Five Nights themed like haunted attraction, right?
Yeah,
or something like
so
that.
it's one of the locations burns down, and the only real threat that you have to worry about is William Afton's decaying body in the Springlock suit.
Right. They call that one Springtrap, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, okay, so what's the deal with Springtrap? Because I know that that's like his body in the suit. That's also his ghost like possessing it, right?
Yeah. No.
What? Oh, okay.
He's in there. He's in there.
Well, yeah, I know his like body is still in it, but like, wait, is he alive?
He's in there, Chris.
He's not alive though, right?
He's in there, Chris. Chris, he's in there. So basically what happens is the kids in the suits chase after him or whatever, and he's like, I know how I'll outsmart those possessed little guys. I'm gonna hide in my own Springlock suit. So he gets in it, but then it malfunctions. And now he's essentially skewered in the suit.
He was hoisted by his own petard.
Indeed. So, anyway, the third game is basically an attraction in the burned down, like, old location. And they basically just took all of the old stuff from that location and they brought it to there, and they're like, hey, let's see how we can still somehow capitalize off of this. And what they did was they found that Springlock suit and they said, we'll put that in there. And he's in there!
I remember this one story of like there was an Old West outlaw through just passing down the line in chain of custody and like lost documents. He ended up as a decoration in like a haunted house at a theme park. And nobody noticed until like the 1970s when they tried to move him and his arm broke off or something like that.
Ew!
So I guess
I'm Googling that immediately after this.
Yeah, so I guess it's kind of like that.
Yeah, except he's not dead. He's coming to get you.
Okay, well, like, you gotta define dead here, because, like, so he is a corpse in there, right?
Chris, he always comes back. Basically, the only, like, real threat in that game is him. Like, you have, like, hallucinations and stuff. You have to, like, check the ventilation and like, your, like, audio can cut out or whatever. But the only real thing you have to worry about is him hobbling along down the hallway stalking you like a weirdo.
I don't know if Febby Fazboom's still there.
Freddy.
All of them changed something really fundamental.
Oh, wait, check this side.
Alright, good call. All of them changed something fundamental about the gameplay. So, like, you know, we already talked about how, like, you know, this one kind of laid the expectation. The second one, like, opened it up and made you more vulnerable, and gave you more to do. But I guess it was also more involved and probably more fun for the people who like this.
Yeah.
In the third one, it shrank it down.
Yeah, I'm not really a fan of the third one. I found it very boring.
But I guess that one is, like, more, like, I guess, personal, where you're finally going up against, like, the, I guess, like, big bad, like, the one behind it all.
Yeah. The man behind the slaughter, if you will.
Yeah. I'm very concerned about you guys, but also we gotta keep checking Pirate's Cove.
Whoa!
And I think while that's closed, we're probably safe from Foxy.
Oh, yeah. If Bonnie's there, Foxy's not gonna come.
She's still there. Bonnie moved. Foxy's still in Pirate's Cove.
Did you know that Mark is so much so the king of Five Nights at Freddy's that his dog's name is Chica?
Oh, really?
Mm-hmm.
I like the mechanic of, like, the doors are a panic, or, like, sort of a measure for not necessarily when you see them, but for when you can't find them.
Oh, yeah. So many times I've seen people start freaking out and they just shut both doors because they're so scared.
Which is also, like, kind of the worst thing you can do.
Oh, yeah, absolutely.
I'm most afraid of Foxy. Foxy is the thing
Me
that I
too.
guess is... I kind of like Foxy because I guess Foxy is the one that you can... The one that you can most proactively manage. But the one which, like... There we go. Yay. Alright, night 3.
You nailed that.
Sort of. I guess I like Foxy because it's the passive threat where you're always trying to keep the other two from getting to you, but Foxy is that thing that you always have to remember to keep an eye on, and anytime you think of it, you're like, oh god, has it been too long?
I like games like that, where it's just a gamble. You know what I mean? Where, like, you can be so good at it, but if you don't get a good draw, then you just have to start over. I think that's what keeps people playing it. It's the motivation to beat it, even when stuff like that can happen.
Oh, hey, wow, day 4. I know you can do it. Hey, listen, I may not be around to send you a message tomorrow. It's been a bad night here for me. I'm kind of glad that I recorded my messages for you. When I did. Hey, do me a favor. Maybe sometime you could check inside those suits in the back room. I'm gonna try to hold out until someone checks. Maybe it won't be so bad. I always wondered what was in all those empty heads back there. You know.
Oh,
Oh no.
you got him!
I love the fall from reassurance that Phone Guy goes through, and it lets you know that, like, even though nothing is changing for you in gameplay, you can tell that there's, like, a lot of things being discovered behind the scenes that you're just not being made aware of. Oh, you're
Okay.
moving. You're actually moving on camera. At a certain point, like, I know a lot of people probably disagree on when the lore got convoluted, even though that seems to be a pretty popular opinion that it did at some point.
Yeah, it's different for everyone.
But at least for the first few games where I was, like, following people playing it, it didn't for me. I liked the small additions in each one. And it wasn't... Normally I don't like dragging it out over a long period of time, but it wasn't so bad in this case, I think, because... like, the first 3 or 4 games came out in, like, a year, and they were,
Yeah.
like, $5 each. So it's... You're still there. I imagine people have probably, like, dissected, like, how the, like, AI patterns, like, work, and...
Slay, Chris!
It's pure luck.
Slay!
Pure luck. Alright, Foxy is gone now, right?
Yeah.
Goodbye. Well, let's talk about the 4th one, because the 4th one obviously was very... Even though it had, like, the same sort of style of gameplay, it was a very different premise from
That
the others.
one was really scary. I remember
A
when
lot of people say that 4 is their favorite.
I think for me personally, 2 is my favorite, but only because it still keeps, like, the basic gameplay that I personally enjoy, but it just has, like, a little bit extra to it, and I like all, like, the new toy animatronics a lot. But 4 is definitely a big one for a lot of people, and the visuals are definitely a lot scarier.
Right, because in that one, you're not a security guard at a booth like the first 3. You're a kid basically trying to survive in their room every night.
Yes, and I think supposedly you are William Afton's son, who gets his head chomped on in that one. So,
right.
So that's why the order of the games, I think, is like, it's either like one, I don't remember what I said before, 1, 4, 2, 3, or like 1, 2, 4, 3, something like that.
And none of that is spelled out by the games themselves, right? That's all like based on just like fans trying to like Da Vinci Code this thing. On the one hand, I sort of dislike that manner of storytelling, but on the other, I think that's also partly why it's gotten so big, is because the way it's done invites that speculation. I think the creator really leaned into that, and I really can't fault him for that.
Yeah.
Yeah, no, the animatronics are even more quirky tonight than they were on previous nights. Five Nights Freddy has not made an appearance, and it's really rude.
I wonder if he's waiting until 5 night.
You know what? That would make sense. I'm sorry. I should not have tried to force him to be something that he's not.
Freddy 4 nights.
Oh, God, imagine. I feel horrible now. We're down to 71%. It's 1 a.m., so I'm dead. But it's, Alright, well, we should... Yeah. Oh, no, you're still there. Crap.
Chica was just shocked you opened the door. That's
Yeah.
why she looked like that.
Didn't even capitalize on it.
I think you stunned her. She didn't
Yeah.
know what to do.
Now, if I had to guess, I would say that this game probably works on, like, a tick system, where, like, every tick, it, like, sort of randomizes everybody's position. Yeah, Foxy's still in Pirate's Cove, hasn't even poked out. I wonder if there's, like, I wonder if there's something that it decides, like, from the start on a night where it's like, okay, this one is going to be the most active tonight. Because it sort of seems like that, because before, I had to, like, watch Foxy like a hawk, and right now Foxy's just, like, just staying tucked away.
Yeah.
But it could also be because I'm going there every, like, 5 seconds.
Yeah, that's true, because Phone Guy said that Foxy doesn't like to be looked at. Which, like, same, do not perceive me. When Freddy comes in here, you just gotta give him the old razzle-dazzle.
I'm still waiting for Freddy to come in here and give me the razzle-dazzle. I would welcome that at this point. The music is coming from... Wait, what did it say that was? Doesn't say. Doesn't say what it is, but camera 6.
Check the stage.
Could we see a Freddy?
It's Freddy! Check.
It's Five Night Freddy.
It's him, it's 5 Night Freddy!
Come on, Freddy. All I want is for you to bite me. I've got 43% left, and I'm going to spend it all on dying to Freddy specifically.
Bonnie and Chica are gonna come in, you're gonna be like, no, not you.
Yeah, Bonnie, you're being really aggravating right now. I'm here for Freddy's autograph, not you. By autograph, I of course mean his bite impression in my skull. Where are you gone? What if there was no shadow and he was just there?
Whoa!
What?
Was that Freddy?
Freddy!
That's Freddy!
Freddy! Come on, Freddy!
Come on, Freddy!
I don't want... Foxy's gonna get me.
We'll check Pirate's Cove.
Yeah, Foxy, come. Freddy, come on. Freddy, you're right there. Come on. Look at you staring into the camera, like, knowingly.
He's
Freddy.
making intense eye contact.
Freddy, 25%. My doors are open. You watch us win. Just on the off chance.
Bro, who's freaking scrounging around in the kitchen back there?
Me.
Somebody's getting a 4 a.m. snack.
Bonnie is just hanging out right there at all times. Really, I'm realizing that the only thing you really need is the lights
Where
and
is he?
Foxy. I think maybe Freddy can come in either door. I'm not sure.
Yeah, I don't remember.
There we go, we got him! I tabbed out. Wait, no. I will say, like, I don't hate it. Like, I don't hate the gameplay. I do think it's distracting. And basically to the detriment of... I'll put it this way, because you have convinced me of one major point, which is it's to the detriment of what Five Nights at Freddy's would become, but it's not necessarily to the detriment of Five Nights at Freddy's that came out in August 2014, and it was a $5 thing on Steam that was just a Bop It game.
Yeah. Like, for what it is, it's okay.
Yeah. It's like I said earlier, I don't think the creator expected this to become nearly as popular as it was yet.
Hello? What the heck?
It actually leads to another point, which is that all subsequent Five Nights at Freddy's games are building off a foundation which looks similar, but is actually very, very different, where this one is, at its core, pure mechanics, and it was always meant to be. However, it had just enough story and lore there, really, that was just meant to be dressing to get people really, really curious. I think if this game had more of a story, maybe the series as a whole would not have been as successful, because it wouldn't have been as intriguing.
Yeah, I like that it ends up through all the games kind of leaving you breadcrumbs that makes you excited for the next game to come out so that you can gather more information about the story.
I believe it was because even the things that it tells you are very ambiguous, where we don't even really know where each game takes place in the timeline necessarily.
Yeah.
A lot of it is down to fan speculation. You were talking before about the mini games.
Yeah, in game 2.
Yeah, most of them were in game 2. I think they might also be in 3 or 4, but I could be misinterpreting.
And also there is some in Sister Location, I believe.
Okay. And those were in Five Nights 2, like, not only was the gameplay more complex, but it was really leaning more into feeding you breadcrumbs, but it was very smart, because a sequel could have said, oh, you like the story? I'm gonna do, like, you know, cutscenes and really heavy lore. It gave us a lot more, like, substantially more, but it did it in the form of these, like, 8-bit arcade games.
Yeah, and it was, like, in between each night, or, well, not each night, but I think you could, like, discover secrets of some kind. You could, like, unlock them.
I've always liked how it uses the 8-bit style, or, like, the phone calls to abstract, like, the darker, gorier parts of the story.
And honestly, like, I remember watching them the first time and being like, that told me nothing.
The information is there, but it's so abstract that it fed into what made the first game popular in the first place, which is that it didn't tell you, it gave you fuel to speculate with.
Yes.
And that really energizes a fandom, I think, more than anything else.
Yeah.
And so even when you have a fandom where, like, most of them probably aren't buying or playing the game, you still have this really enthusiastic fan base that is buying your merch, that is watching the people who boost the game. The Let's Players.
I'm watching anybody and everybody play it. You guys can't see it, but I'm literally wearing a Freddy Fazbear's Pizza shirt that I got in 2014 for Christmas.
So that just shows you how fast this thing exploded.
I bet our frontal lobe is looking very delicious.
It would be a great way to end the video.
I hope nobody comes running down this hallway and chomps on our skull. Where's Freddy?
That's a funny thing to ask in this game. But, like, yeah, I mean, I'll be honest, like, you know, the cultural osmosis has affected me. I mean, the reason I was interested and motivated to play this in the first place is because of the Fazbear's Forgotten Gary's Mod map.
Wait, so you mean that me constantly talking about Five Nights at Freddy's all these years didn't do it?
Well, actually, I will say, once Security Breach came out, you were telling me everything you didn't like about it, and then you told me everything you did like about the previous games, and that got me sort of interested.
Hear that, guys? You're welcome.
I mean, trends come and go, but this is one that really, I think, managed to ride the lightning in a smart way, even if it's a game that, like, doesn't appeal to me at all. I mean, clearly it's doing something right. And if you like this video, please remember to like, comment, and subscribe for more creepy and comfy content. If you have any ideas for other videos you think I should do, the best place to suggest that will be at the Discord, which I will link in the description. Don't suggest other Five Nights at Freddy's games, except maybe the VR ones. If you want to try this game out for yourself, that link will also be in the description. If you want to support me on Patreon, that link will be in the description. And as always, I will see you in the next one. Actually, you know what? I should just run the battery down. That would be a good...
Just close the doors.
I'm now realizing we could have one. I didn't realize how late it was getting.
Yeah.
So I was going to end the video on that note, but, you know, it can be a little difficult to be articulate when you're trying to play a game that's meant to be stressful like Five Nights at Freddy's, so I figured, since this has been a long time coming, that I should give my clear closing thoughts. So, you know, 10 years on, the last time I actually played it, being all the way back when it came out, I found that I didn't dislike the gameplay nearly as much as I thought I would. Really, the only thing I super didn't like about it is the fact that I will simply never enjoy having my progress completely reset if something goes wrong. And so, while I still don't enjoy playing it, I even tried it a bit on my own time and found I wasn't having nearly as much fun without Jess there. I will say that I came to appreciate it a little bit on a mechanical level, simply because of, like, the idea of managing all these elements started to have, like, a certain rhythm to it that was sort of fun, even if I didn't really find it particularly scary. I will say this, however, I am more hyped on, like, the story than ever. Because, you know, we had some more conversations about it, I looked into it some more, and, like, first of all, I found that just about everything I liked about it, except for the setting, was Five Nights at Freddy's 2, but, like, whatever, that's neither here nor there. I also found that, you know, what this whole franchise is really good at is abstracting horror. When we see all these stories being told, like, from the perspective of just phone calls, things we didn't personally witness, when we see them through the perspective of these 8-bit minigames, but it's all such, like, dark and awful things. That's, like, one of my favorite things in horror. I love it when horrible things are conveyed to you through abstraction, and it leaves a whole lot to your imagination. And not only is that cool from a storytelling perspective, it's also thematically appropriate, because look at where we are. It's a children's entertainment restaurant. It's all about these animatronics, which conceal this facade of this horrifying endoskeleton underneath these child-friendly characters. And I'm going to tell you something, I'm real concerned right now because I went and placed a next spot out here, and it has not navigated to me, but it is also not here. So that's a pickle. I guess I had always had the impression that the games themselves were to the detriment of a good story, and while that still may be true in places, it's not nearly to the extent that I had always believed. I'm just gonna assume you're stuck. Let's find out if you're really stuck. You're not stuck, you're not stuck, you're not stuck, you're not stuck, you're not stuck. Okay. And so, I guess I can end this by saying that I've definitely softened my view on this franchise as a whole. And while I'm sure there's still things that I won't like about, like, later lore and stuff, it's just, there's a lot to appreciate here. I've already given my outro, but suffice to say, goodbye, everybody.